piece of shit.
Really?
Doug.
Earl Dean did?
My mother, my stepdad. He wouldn't work. The only time, I mean, we've had, when I was, see, the boys fortunately don't remember, and especially Russell. I mean, he's, George's age. But he wouldn't work. He wouldn't get up and go to work. He lost jobs. He did menial work. The only time they ever had regular income was after he retired and got Social Security.
Doug, let me, one summer, I worked every summer. My
Okay.
daddy said, I want you work, just not sitting around and just
Well, most kids do
and
work
playing
in
during
the
the
summer.
summer.
when
I
they're
want you to
teenagers,
work.
Right.
And so I worked for the Scarborough Construction Company,
Okay.
and they were building new
Roads.
concrete bridges
Big main roads.
on Highway 17.
Right.
And Bobbie's father was working at the same company. We were both driving
Driving a dump truck.
dump trucks.
Yeah.
We started at dump trucks, but we worked 55 hours a week.
Oh my gosh.
So we had overtime, and they paid us time and a half. We both started at $8 an hour,
Okay.
and I noticed almost immediately that Harold would miss, seemed like every other day.
Well,
Right. Wouldn't show
He
up.
Wouldn't
didn't
get
show
up.
up. And I wound up driving, those packing machines with all the tires
Right.
where it's very heavy.
Yeah.
I wound up making $16 an hour driving that
Back
packing
then,
machine, and he got fired.
Wow.
Well, he would, every morning it was mother started off, Harold, get up,
Right.
And in 30 minutes she's screaming, cussing, kicking him, trying to get him out of bed to go to work. This is, But anyway, he just was. But so she had a horrible life. I mean, I think about it, she never had anybody that helped her. Anything she ever wanted to do later when they were older and they were left, when my grandparents died, they were left some land there. And she wanted to put that trailer park in, for income. He fought her. He was afraid he was going to have to do something.
To work.
Right. Right.
And so he never, ever, ever, she had to do everything. And the boys, they came to her when they wanted, his answer was always no, or get out of here or something,
So you guys have been 65 years.
65 years.
And you left Hinesville.
Yes, and that was the smartest thing. But God did it.
Yeah, it was God. I mean,
all we
I had
didn't
joined
know what we should be
the
doing.
Georgia Air National Guard at
It
17.
works out that
Right.
way.
And my folks had signed for me so I could join.
So he could
So I
go
was
active
already
duty
Right.
without
in the
another
military unit.
signature.
So let me ask you this. Don't listen to this, buddy. Don't listen to this question
Okay.
yet. I don't want to hear from you.
Okay.
What was the thing that made you fall in love with Buddy Blake?
Well,
Why Buddy?
Yeah.
Why wasn't it somebody good looking? Why wasn't it somebody,
now, he
you know?
was a doll.
Was
he
he?
was a cutie pie.
Was he?
And he had come from Savannah.
And I drove.
And he had a car.
You had a car.
He had a car.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
and
we were pulling
all
those
the
grab
girls
traps, and I
liked
had a
him.
truck.
You had the truck, right?
Yeah,
all
and
the
then
girls liked him. And
So you wanted him, but so nobody else would get him.
right. Oh, and then Doug, it was so funny one time. And I don't remember the guy's name, but do you remember he was we were
In
in
Savannah?
a parade. No, it was in Hinesville. I rode on a convertible and
that's you were the Turtle Queen.
whatever.
The Turtle Queen.
Yes, she was the Turtle Queen.
Whatever it was.
We had this big festival.
I was the queen of the class.
and we raced turtles.
Okay.
That
to
was
raise
a big,
money. It was the money. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
For the
Bobbie
school.
Blake, the Turtle Queen.
Right.
Yeah.
We had to wear formal.
Formal.
We rode on this in a parade
All
on this.
right.
Well, this good-looking guy who was
Okay.
He had just left to go to college, and he was back. It must have been the summer. And he asked me out.
Did
and
he
I
now?
wanted to go.
Right.
So I told Buddy, I said, I'm going to go on a date with this guy. And so Buddy said, well, I'll just go on a date with this girl. And she had moved in, and
Okay.
she was a really cute girl. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And I was miserable. I did not have
Right.
any fun on my date. All I was thinking
Right.
about was Buddy. I
Right.
was so upset
Right.
that I had done it was a bad choice.
Right.
So after that, we never did. I didn't want to date
That
anybody
was it.
else. That was it. And
And how
we
how
were
far along in your process
dating.
was this?
About a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
maybe-
So you're still in school.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were in 11th grade when we left. When he
Okay.
left and went to the Air Force. And
So
But
he did
anyway.
his GED because of the military.
it
Did you ever
in-
do your GED?
I did started, but I never did.
You never
finish.
finished it.
Never finished.
So
it.
you went through 11th grade.
I got a Bradwell Institute.
He went back.
I
and
graduated.
got,
I
a
took
diploma.
3 extension courses
Right.
so I could complete my
So-
high school.
But I never
So-
did.
Buddy, what was it about Bobbie that you were just like, I cannot let this one go?
Honestly, we went to sign up for the 9th grade, and Bobbie had gone to Savannah and worked with Betty at the beach,
Okay.
and I hadn't seen her all summer long. And
Well, he was
and-
dating seniors when we were. He was a
Well, I
year
had
older.
a car.
He
I
had a
dated
car.
juniors and seniors.
And so I was just one of the, and lanky. Well, as puberty kicks in
Right,
that
right,
summer, you
right.
grow up, and I'd had my hair styled. I had worked at Betty saved
Kind of
all.
like what it is today.
Yeah, kind of like this, yeah. And but I'd had my hair cut, for school, and got some school clothes, some cute clothes. Betty took me shopping.
Honestly, I didn't
And,
recognize her.
Wow.
I said Jimmy Woods was my best friend at the time. He lived in Midway, and we were running Daddy was running a cafe, and he was doing his accounting all up and down the highway.
Right.
So anyway, I called Jimmy Woods, and Jimmy said, "Well, I'll come by and pick you up, and we'll go register for the 9th
Wow.
grade."
Wow.
And we walked in to sign up, for registration.
Okay.
And I spied Bobbie, and I said, "Who in the world is that?"
Wow.
I said, I think I'm in love."
Wow.
Anyway,
And then Jimmy said, "Well, that's Bobbie Dean."
Wow.
I said, "Wow."
So there's
That-
things that happen there, and you kind of get together.
Yeah.
When you finally confessed your admiration for Bobbie Dean, what did you say?
we started
I was
dating.
honestly, I was head over heels in love with this.
Was
girl.
she
And
head
he-
over heels with you?
Not
No,
as
not
much.
at
Not
first.
as much.
Not at
So I
first.
want to hear what you told her. What turned
Well-
what turned the corner there?
Well, she just related. She actually never dated anybody really dated
I
but
had not
me.
dated anybody till Buddy. He was
But
the
you
first.
got to. I mean,
Yeah,
you got to
But-
do it once, right?
yeah.
Right.
So we were.
There were several guys in the
Dating.
class, including Pete Clark and what was his name? Michael
Miles.
Miles.
Michael Miles and Pete Clark.
They were my competition.
Okay.
And they had the hots for Bobbie that I
Okay.
did.
On the sports team, probably. I mean,
Yeah,
just
well,
Yeah.
but we both were basketball players.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and on
Well,
the
we started
trips out of
dating.
town, the bus. I mean, we sat together.
And the only thing, but when we first started dating, the only thing we had in high school for the kids that were too young to really be out dating or didn't have a car, we had a teen club
Okay.
on Saturday night, was
Right.
it, or Friday? Anyway, so I'd go to the teen club. So Buddy was dating older girls, and then he'd come
Yep.
to the
A
teen
man
club.
after my own heart.
Yeah. Then he'd come by the teen club and hang out and stuff.
I dated other girls, but I
Well, that was
But you-
before we
you had
started
your eye on
dating.
that Bobbie
my eye
Dean.
on Bobbie Dean
But that
all
was-
the
Yeah.
time.
Before we started dating, and he asked me to go to a movie or something. I had never been out.
I went to her mother and father at a basketball game
Oh, you met him there.
and asked if
Okay.
I could date her.
Okay. Well,
You
that's
know.
very gentlemanly
Well, I
of you.
I asked him first because I said, when he asked me, I said, I don't know. I have to ask my mother. You know,
Okay.
if I had not dated. So
we had to be
were
home. We had to
probably-
be in by 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd
were-
love to hear about 10:27 to 10:30.
Oh.
Oh,
Well,
gosh.
we dated. Then, you know, all you could do is go to the drive-in
Right.
And McClary's.
and
Okay.
McLaren's
So you
and
took.
park.
Did you take her in the truck
Yeah.
to the drive-in?
Well,
Yeah.
we went in the car.
Did you guys sit there and make out?
Yeah. Yeah.
We went in the car too because we
Do you
weren't
remember
always
the
in
movie you saw?
stinky truck.
No.
No,
Probably
of course
not.
not. All right.
Well, the first time we went,
We're-
we double dated with
Pete
Jimmy,
Clark.
Jimmy Woodall and Ellen.
Did you
Okay.
get frisky with her on that date? Like,
No.
did you get
Oh
first
no,
base?
I was every bit the gentleman.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't.
I
Alright.
like I say,
We
I
just
had
kinda
dated
How long
sat
did it take
there.
you to get to second base?
Oh, wow.
about a year.
About a year.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
about a
God.
year.
Okay.
Anyway.
It did. It you know, it just
Alright.
it just evolved.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I knew
And-
eventually.
And
Neither one
We
of us
knew
wanted.
we-
neither one
we-
of us wanted to have
Anybody else?
to
And
go
so-
all the way.
so, who confessed first? Like, who was the first to say,
I
"I'm
think
in
I
love"?
did.
I'm in love.
I think
Probably
I did.
Betty. Because at school, I had these girlfriends that I hung, my couple of
She
friends,
had
Patty
three
Ann,
girlfriends that surrounded
Jane
her
Wingate and
and
Gail.
protected her from
Right.
me.
Right.
But Buddy hung around with us.
Yeah.
He went everywhere. I mean,
Right.
around school, lunch,
Right.
everything. He just
Sure.
hung with all of us. And didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
And
Couple
so,
years.
and so, as this whole thing developed, what did your girlfriend start to say about Buddy?
Oh, they all liked him. They would have dated him.
They would have dated him
Yeah, they all liked him.
because he was
He was
a
cute,
catch.
and he was from the
Plus-
city.
And, yeah, and he was polite, and he was
Yeah.
sweet, and
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I didn't.
and he
I-
had a truck.
And he had a truck.
and the car.
Well, he
My
had
dad
car.
had a '55
Sometimes we'd
Ford
use the car.
Okay,
500,
Then the car didn't stink.
and it was beautiful.
the truck stunk, right,
Don't
like
like
crabs, right?
Crab.
Yeah, the truck had the truck.
I can hear Bobbie now. Buddy Blake, you smell like you have crabs.
You know what though? You couldn't smell that in the cab, could you, Bobbie?
No, it was
I-
just
I
when he got
managed
out.
to-
It was in
I
the
But
managed-
back.
everybody outside could
But
see.
Yeah.
anybody outside when we pulled in the drive-in, the very first time I drove the truck, we went to the drive-in movie, and I pulled up, and there was a guy that took your money,
Okay,
and went and got your tickets,
all right,
and then brought you the tickets.
all right.
Anyway, he came up, and I gave him the $1.
Okay,
It was 50 cents each.
okay.
2 people in the car. Anyway, he took the $1 and he walked over to the window and he looked at the bottom of his shoes.
Oh, really?
So help me God. Then we got in the drive-in and pulled up next to somebody, and the
Yeah.
2 cars on both sides.
They moved.
Yeah,
They
but,
moved.
Isn't that funny?
But anyway,
But you
so there
couldn't
was
smell
2
it in the
years.
car.
If
Yeah.
we were in 9th grade when we started dating, then we were married in the 11th. So we had 2 years.
So 2 years.
And the summers, my Aunt Betty had a place at Savannah Beach. She had a restaurant and a little, like a Well, it was big. We sold hamburgers, but
Right.
it's like at the foot of the
They
pier.
sold cups of French fried potatoes.
Yeah, and hamburgers and hot dogs and snow cones and
Okay.
cotton candy and
Right.
candied apples.
All
and
that kind of
So
stuff.
And there
I
was
spent
a
the
skating
summer-
skating
Oh yeah,
pavilion
it
that
was
went out
so
way out
neat.
into the water.
Over the-
Oh, really?
and they
over
had
the-
music
on
and
the
skates.
pier.
You
How
could
beautiful is that?
Oh, it was
Oh, it was
fabulous.
it was
so I
wonderful.
spent the summer with them and worked, and they paid me. See,
Okay.
Betty, at the end of the summer, she kept kept the money, and then took me shopping for school clothes.
Okay.
And because we didn't have any. Oh, talk about poor. But
Well, there was a boy. There was one flirtation that you had with a
yes,
in
up at the-
Savannah.
And what?
When you were at the
what's
beach.
This? What's this now?
he
It was a really nice
they ran
guy.
the skating rink.
Yeah.
And I'd go
Okay.
up and watch him skate sometimes and stuff, but
You had a little
didn't mean
crush going on
anything.
there.
Yeah, it was just a.
But it just didn't pale in
Oh
comparison
no,
to
it was
that Buddy
nothing.
Blake, man.
No, and then on my day off, Buddy was there at like daybreak, and we
Right.
spent the whole day together. He drove to
Okay.
the beach.
Yeah, leave the house at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Right, right. And you'd
And,
go spend the day at the beach
yeah.
and have fun and
Yeah,
play in
it
the
was-
water.
It
and
was. It
make
was
out
neat.
on the towel and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we did. It was good.
good days, right?
Because we only had, it was 2 years because, we started dating in the 9th grade.
Yeah.
And then, so did we have 2 summers?
Yeah, 2 summers.
So, and I must have been down at Betty's both times.
Yeah. The first summer we christened the Bobbie Dean, remember?
What do you mean?
Oh, Buddy's boat.
You called the boat
I was
the
pulling
Yeah.
I was pulling 50 crab
The
traps.
sticky
You named
crab
your
boat.
boat the Bobby Dean?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yes.
didn't know. I haven't heard
Crab
that.
boat.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
so
did.
you
He had it
even named
painted.
your boat
He had
after
it
her.
painted
Oh,
you
yeah.
had it painted
Listen,
on?
I was head over heels in love with
Yeah.
this woman,
Wow.
this girl.
It was
And-
fun.
I mean, you know how it is. You just think about that person all
Right.
the time.
All the time.
You
All
know,
the time.
and while we were going to school, it was fairly easy. But I pull those crab traps. I got up at 3 o'clock
Right.
in the morning and
Right?
But
And
he worked.
so I
he
could
worked
pull-
hard, too.
pull the crab traps and then go to school.
Right.
And that I got the truck so I could go to school and then come directly after school
Right.
with the truck and then pull the 50 again.
And you had absolutely no idea at that time that 65
Yeah.
years later,
Yeah,
Isn't
you'd
that-
be sitting here
yeah,
No.
talking
in a
about
lazy
it.
boy
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah,
65 years
Now, how
ago.
cool is that?
that's
That's
pretty cool. That's
That
pretty
is
cool.
pretty
And God
cool.
was there every single step
Well,
of the way.
all the things, like leaving was, if we'd have been there with his parents, we were so young, my God, and the influences, it would have been really impossible. We'd have
Yeah.
never made it.
Yeah.
We'd have never made
Yeah.
it. And then all the kids are still in school,
Right.
all of our friends
Right.
and all that. So,
Wow.
so it was a good thing that we moved.
65 years.
Yeah.
What does he mean to you?
Oh my God, life. Everything.
And we were, this was a fulfillment really of my goal was to marry this girl.
Yeah.
And I was hoping I'd marry her before we consummated the relationship. And we came so close several times.
Well, we
But-
did think of
But I
getting
had
married,
a desire,
Right,
Doug.
right,
I had a
right.
desire that I wanted to
Right.
marry her.
spend the
Right.
rest of our
Right.
I
lives.
wanted to. I really wanted
But
that to occur,
Right.
in the marriage bed.
Right.
we were so young. When I think about
We
it,
tried
now,
real hard.
Right.
We couldn't understand why our folks got so upset. But my
Right.
God.
Sure. Right.
And the thing we had to tell them when we walked in was, Okay, we're married. Bobbie's pregnant. I've already
Oh my
joined
gosh.
the Air Force.
Oh my gosh.
I'm leaving
I
in
can't
2
even
weeks.
imagine.
I mean, he's already joined the Air Force when we told him.
Yeah.
But that was all good.
It was
Sure.
all in concrete days. There was nothing they could do
Nothing they could do about
to
it.
stop us.
Right.
And so,
What a life you've had.
Amen.
Oh my gosh.
Two
so
kids
then,
from Hinesville, Georgia.
Then we
Yeah.
left. You know,
Left-
we came to Denver
left.
first.
And at 17, I was
Yeah.
in basic training. I'm looking at all these old people, you know,
Right.
and I'm just a kid, you
Right.
know.
Right.
It's amazing.
Wow.
And
Quite
that
an
was the
adventure.
longest summer.
Yeah.
He left in April. And April, May, June, July, August, I joined you, didn't I?
The 29th of April, 1955, I joined the United States Air Force.
Wow.
And then he went to basic training for 3
Basic
months.
training for 13 weeks.
So I stayed home. That was
Then
the
to Denver.
longest.
We told you the story of
Yeah.
Bobbie
Yeah, I
Yeah.
met
arriving
him
in Denver.
Right.
Big and pregnant, cause
Right. Big and pregnant. Right.
see, that's 3 months.
But she was the most beautiful
Sure she was.
Oh,
pregnant
God.
girl in the
I was
whole
so
Yep.
sick.
wide
Yep.
world, you know.
And we
Yeah.
rented we lived in a basement apartment that had a pull-out sofa,
Yep.
but it had to be furnished.
Right.
You know, we had a
Right.
little furnished
Right.
apartment. And that's where we lived first. It must have been, what, $50?
Huh.
We had a little kitchen, bathroom, and this living room with the pull-out sofa.
So, buddy, you're thinking about all that development, and from when you first started to fall in love, and you think about these 65 years.
You know what really was weird, and strange, and I don't really understand it even today, was when I got involved. I went to 54 weeks of technical training in electronics
Okay.
on the first missile that carried a nuclear warhead.
Right. Wow.
That's what I was doing.
Huge.
But even while I was going to school, I wrote the principal at Bradwell to find out what it would take for me to be a graduate of Bradwell.
Yeah, and to get-
I did not want, I came in with a GED,
Right.
but I wanted to finish my education for some reason. My mother sort of cursed me, and she said, "You'll never get your education."
Really.
And I said, "Sarah,
Yes, I will.
I'm not only going to get my education, I'm going to get my college
Yep.
too."
Damn straight.
You know, and so I went to the education office and signed up for the extension courses that they had. They actually contacted the education office. The principal did, and said he needs these 3 courses. And I don't even today remember what the 3 courses were. One of them was a history course,
Yep.
and
You
one
love
was a-
history.
Yeah, oh, I
Yeah,
love
he
history.
does.
And one was an English course.
Okay.
But the third one, I don't remember what
Yeah.
it was. But anyway,
You
I
never
signed
learned-
up for those
You
courses.
signed up for the courses, but you never learned to spell.
Never learned to spell. Right.
You
Bobbie
don't-
was my speller.
They miss phonics. They
What's up
somehow
with
he and
that?
Tony. I don't know.
So you had to be terribly proud of him
Oh my God.
for this extra work that he was doing.
You know, I was so busy though with those. We
Right.
had 3 babies, Doug.
Right.
Jen was 3.
Right.
That's a lot,
Right.
and so I was so. I didn't appreciate him until later,
Right.
when I looked back and saw, and he had to come home with those 3 babies around, pulling on him and
Right.
study
Right.
and do all that, you know, with all that going on.
Yeah.
Imagine how hard that was.
Sure.
I went
And,
every day at lunch
We went home.
to a college course. Okay, and I went every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. At night, I took
Right.
3 courses at a time, college courses,
Right.
and I got my AA degree. It took me
We were in
Took
Biloxi.
me about
We were
6
in,
years to get
no,
my.
we were in California, weren't
Yeah,
we?
we were in California,
Yeah.
and I got my
And,
AA
Okay.
in business
He
administration.
would come home.
Good job.
With a 2-year degree.
But the Air Force is they're so helpful.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
they really encouraged it. And then, of course, he got 6 months off to go bootstrap to
Okay.
be on campus to get his bachelor's. He
Yeah.
had to be on campus
Yeah.
for 6 months. It's called a bootstrap program.
Let me turn the conversation a little bit. So, you've got these 3 kids, and you've got this strange little redhead. What the heck?
Yes.
What
Oh,
the heck?
God.
How did that happen?
Well,
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you've got this little redhead girl.
We got
And-
3 of the strangest kids.
Not
We've got a
strange,
brown.
different,
We've
different.
got a brown-haired,
Well,
brown-eyed.
see, they don't favor,
Right.
but in
They
a way
don't-
you
they
can
look like-
see a similarity.
Right.
Now, if you look at Jan, she's got Buddy's coloring,
Well, y'all look.
but
I mean, y'all look similar.
similar. But see what happened, and what made it so weird was, see, my father, my real father,
Uh-huh.
who had never been in the picture with the family,
Okay.
was very Irish. Everybody was redheaded in his family.
Okay. Wow.
His brothers, his nieces, and he had a niece that looked so much like Tony. When we finally
Right.
got to meet him, she was like, "My roots," you know.
Right.
Yeah.
She felt so different
Yeah.
from the rest
Yeah.
of the family for so long.
Yeah, and we and you know what? And we didn't think about things we said.
Tony was always the baby, and I.
But they all had.
But I
as far
remember
as
when the
redhead,
doctor
would
put.
laugh. People would say, "Oh, you must have a redheaded mailman." I'd say,
Right.
"Yeah, I didn't."
You'd
yeah,
laugh at
We'd
it.
laugh. We
but
didn't.
it was hurtful to
It
Tony.
was, and we didn't have
You didn't
sense
realize
enough
it.
to know
Never,
it.
never realized it.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
God, you
I've
learn.
always wanted a redhead.
Oh, we
Isn't
were
that something?
thrilled. Oh,
You
we
know,
were. She was
it's-
beautiful.
Oh my gosh, she
Everybody
was
just
just
fussed over
with these
her.
orange
Well,
eyebrows.
she was.
Right.
It was so bright red. It was kind of glowed because
right.
it wasn't
And
very
she's
thick.
just you were Tony's dad.
Yes. Yeah. I was Tony.
Uh-huh.
In fact, most of the time I was Tony's dad.
Yeah. Well, everybody met Tony first when we moved to a base.
Well, she never
Right.
met a stranger.
She
Right.
always met people when we'd meet them later and say, "Oh, you're Tony's dad or your mother," you know.
Right.
They've already met Tony.
Right.
So
Let me interject something.
Okay.
Tony was such a people person
Right.
that she would ride the shuttle bus. We had a bus on the
Okay.
base
Okay.
that went through base housing.
Okay.
And then it would go through the whole base and the teen clubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we
and
had
just went all
at
over.
Biloxi we had 4 swimming pools
Okay.
because I mean it was so hot and the
well,
you
it was
know.
on base. In fact, then people were.
But you could ride but she would ride the bus and
you didn't
introduce
worry about
herself
your
to
kids
everybody.
Like you know. do today.
Total strangers.
Wow.
That was entertainment. She'd get on
Right.
the bus
She-
and
she
just
loved
ride
it.
all over
Oh,
and
yeah.
talk to everybody.
She was soaking it up.
Oh
She
yeah.
was.
And then I remember one of the guys said, "Oh, you're Tony's father."
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Oh, we just love everybody
So-
loved Tony.
So, buddy, what does Tony mean to you?
Oh my God.
Oh, she was so special.
What does she mean to you now?
Oh.
She's now that we've moved here, and I see the similarities between the two of us. I mean, Bobbie and Tony as she grew up. Bobbie and Tony were part of Bobbie's total focus was Tony.
Right.
My total focus was Jan and I in the clock company,
Right. Right.
and so you know.
And George.
And
Well, Tony
George.
was-
George finally wound up in the clock company with us, but
Tony had moved away by then, but she was always so special. And-
you know what, we moved to Biloxi when I got commissioned. When we came in, I was an officer then, and we got to Biloxi, and the federal government or the people of Mississippi in Biloxi They were
We're
being
just
forced to
doing-
integrate the
just
schools.
doing
Right.
integration.
So what they did was they integrated the
With-
schools
with
with
the-
my
For
children.
the government children that lived on
Right,
base,
right.
because
So
the
all the
government
base
was making them
personnel
do it.
went to this black school.
Yeah,
And
She probably loved it. She probably
She
did way
did.
better
Tony,
than George
oh
and
yeah,
Jan.
oh
She
listen,
did. Oh,
she
she
was so
did.
gutsy. They had this teen challenge or something, and she played the guitar and sang.
oh, she had, no, the
They
thing
were-
that I remember first though, she was younger, this was younger. And she, was taking part in some kind of a thing at school, and
Yeah.
she was gonna sing, and this, and the record player messed up, so she did it anyway, and won. And she had this, she was little, she had this dress that had yellow, pleated sleeves, and the song was,
I don't remember,
Fly
but I tell you
Away,
what,
something.
she had more guts
she just went out there and did it anyway.
than
The
Jan,
music-
Jan and
music
George
didn't work.
would never.
They were timid.
done it.
They were timid,
Right.
but
They would never. They wouldn't have had the courage to
She-
compete,
and
and
she
she
never met
was
a
determined to
stranger.
compete.
Right.
never met a stranger. But
Right.
I remember that,
Yep.
and
What did she mean to you growing up?
oh, she's just always been so special. You know, and like this past weekend, we had the best time. She spent almost the whole weekend, days over here. And we said she said, Mom, we could live together.
Yeah.
And because we get along,
Yeah.
Well,
Because
Your
It's a
best
special
friends.
relationship.
your
yeah.
best
we are
friends.
best friends.
Yeah, really, best
We are.
friends.
And so, she's
Isn't it
just
great?
so special. Yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Isn't it great to have kids like that?
Oh,
in your
yeah.
Oh my
life?
God! Yes.
Just after
makes
all
you
these
so
years to
proud.
be so, to be so close.
And you
to
know
be
what,
so-
Doug? She grew up in Jan's shadow.
Well,
Jan was older,
but you know
Right.
what I've
and
found
she
out
was.
since Jan had a lot of problems. See,
Okay.
Jan had a lot of things going on that we didn't know about even. But Jan was jealous of Tony.
Wow, isn't that crazy?
I mean, she wanted to be, because Jan could not meet people. She couldn't do.
Right,
She
right.
just, and she was, more reserved and all. And she was jealous of Tony, and Tony was jealous of her
Wow.
for different. They were so
Different
different.
reasons. Right.
And but Jan could never have done the things Tony did.
But what a family you've built. I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
when
we
look at
feel
the-
that way,
Yeah.
and we're so proud.
What a family.
And God has just been there. Because we didn't have sense enough. We didn't know shit from Shinola. So it had to be God. We were too young. And I've often thought, we were, as parents, we made a lot of mistakes, but they knew we loved them. But we didn't know. We did, discipline and crap, and Buddy had this stupid military
Right.
thing.
Right.
And anyway, but you don't get do-overs. But I think we were better grandparents. See, you get
Okay.
to kind of,
I don't know. You're pretty good now.
well, we've learned
I
a
think we
lot.
did pretty good.
We
We
should have.
we did the
Well,
one
they-
essential thing that I really wanted so badly is, and for each one of my girls, I had goals that I was
All right.
hoping for,
Okay.
and for George,
Okay.
and we saw all of that fulfilled, I seriously underestimated Tony's ability because she was always in trouble because she was always
She
talking.
was always
Right.
talking. And she got in trouble in
And
school.
so she didn't earn good grades. Jan was always in the
Right.
upper.
Right.
She was in
But
special.
Tony was smarter.
Right.
She
but
really
Tony's
was
much
smarter.
smarter than Jan.
And she can sit down and
Yeah.
look at a book and get the gem
The-
out of it.
yeah, the
You know,
essence
get
So,
of
the-
it.
so
The
let me ask you,
nuggets.
or this is a really tough question. I'll give you a second. But what is the one thing of you that you want Tony to carry on,
Oh,
to have, to the part of you that you want to be a part of Tony? That's a tough question.
yeah. Well, I think that she has it. She has that ability to love and give. And I'm better than I do. I mean, she's way, way exceeded anything I could have taught her. But, 'cause she's, my God, Doug, when people meet Tony, they never forget her,
Right.
Yeah.
and she just gives. She's such a giver. And I always thought, I'm kind of a giver, but not like her. She just, God, I hate it when I cry.
How about
But-
you, buddy?
With joy,
The joy.
Yeah.
the joy,
Yeah,
the
she
the
does.
the lust for life, and this your kids can take sometimes your worst traits and make them
Oh, they
even worse.
do
Right.
that.
But in Tony's case, she took some of my blessings and made them even more.
Wow.
Yeah.
More so. So I mean, it was just utterly amazing, and I didn't appreciate her as much because each child, I just wanted to love. I wanted my children to love me,
Yeah.
and we had fun.
We did a
We-
lot of
Right.
things. We
Yeah.
were young when
Yeah.
they were young,
Yep.
so we did do a lot of things.
I just think it's so great. She thinks so highly of you guys. So highly of you guys. She just respects you so much and just
Well,
and
we-
with Buddy, she's the block off the old chip.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And with Buddy, with Bobbie, she's like, you guys are just best friends. I mean,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
just best friends.
Yeah, we are. We banter.
Sure.
That's what we've always called it,
Right.
bantering. But we don't ever fuss.
But we're
No.
friends. We've always
Yeah.
been best friends. You
But
know?
yeah,
Yep.
and with all the kids as we've gotten older, we've had better relationships with them,
Right.
and with
Well,
George
Willie-
and Jan too.
Willie thought Tony could.
Oh my God.
Oh my! He
Well,
just.
everybody thinks Tony hung the moon.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah. But the red hair was definitely from the Irish side of my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
And one time we went to Florida, where they're all from, around Clearwater,
Okay.
in Tampa. Robert's brothers and their
Right.
kids,
Okay.
her first cousins, and they looked so much alike it was uncanny.
It was.
And they
She
all
had found her
red hair.
people.
Yeah,
Yes, she found her
She
people.
said she
Yes,
found
she
her
really did. I mean, it was
But
utterly amazing.
Robert's brother, his younger brother James, had red hair, and I didn't know any of this either till
Right.
I was, when they moved back and I got to meet his family.
Right.
I was older, I didn't grow up with him or anything,
Right.
so, and nobody saw him, because he wasn't there, but that's where all that red hair, all that Irish came from.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
I'll tell you another thing.
And my granddaddy, George Floyd, every time we had a baby in the family, he wanted a redhead. He was
Okay.
always looking for a
Okay.
redhead. His youngest sister, Aunt Anna, had red hair. And so he had some in his family
Okay.
too. But nobody had it, and he didn't get to see Tony.
Huh.
But he would have loved her.
Yep.
He was,
Yep.
but it was so special.
When Tony started her business, she's always been an exceptional
Sure.
woman.
Sure.
But Jan said she won every leasing award
Well, Jan and
And
Debbie
Jan
worked,
was-
they worked
They were in
in,
the same place,
Dallas.
and
Oh,
Debbie
wow.
was there too.
that's
Okay.
how
All three of them
Debbie
worked for the
met
same
George.
company.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I don't
Well-
think I've ever heard that.
Well,
Yeah.
Debbie and Jan were friends, or Tony. I think they all. Well,
They were
Jan
all
went
friends.
for a while. They all worked.
But everybody
Tony went
knew Tony.
first.
Okay.
And so
And,
Tony called me and said, Daddy, I'm going to teach the CAM course.
They wanted me to teach, and
So-
I don't even know what to charge. It was like the first time they'd asked her to teach
Yeah.
a class.
But I went
But
up.
that's how George met Debbie. She worked with them at an apartment. I mean, they all were working leasing agents for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Up until that time that I spent this weekend with Tony, I had just gotten my master's degree in education.
Okay.
I had gone through the United States Air Force instructor course,
Okay.
and I was an instructor for 4 years,
Okay.
teaching classes. And so I knew how to write curriculum. And so education was a big part of my assignment at Biloxi. I not only taught, but I also oversaw a lot of the other courses and a lot of studies and things like this. And so Tony asked me to, they had picked her to teach the CAM course. And
But we were
I had,
we were in Beaumont at this
we were
time.
at Beaumont, yeah. I had
She
never been to her
graduated.
apartment, and I went up there with all these years of knowing Tony,
Yeah.
and I knew I knew how exceptional she was, but I didn't know how brilliant she was.
Wow.
And so we sat down with the course material, and it was boring.
Wow.
And I said, Tony, what you've got to do is use humor as you teach this material.
Wow.
Make it where it's funny.
Yeah.
And so I said, first isolate your major points that you want to teach.
Yep.
And working with Tony, for the first time, I thought, oh my gosh, she's brilliant.
Wow. Isn't that special?
She's brilliant.
Wow.
She had read several books,
Yeah.
and what I wanted her to do is bring some additional material in that she could amplify from,
Right. Right.
and not just teach just the
Right.
the core course, but
Right.
but be an effective teacher, instructor,
Right.
so that these people would retain.
Right.
And you tell them what you're going to tell them. You tell them, and you tell them what you told them.
Right.
So I applied a whole bunch of principles, but I walked after that weekend. I went away shaking my head, thinking this girl is brilliant.
Right.
She had read several books that were like this thick, and she had the nuggets.
Right.
She picked out those golden nuggets that I mean, there's so much information out there, and she still does it today.
Yeah.
She can read a book, summarize the major points of
Right.
that book, and then use them as teaching points
Right.
to supplement what she does. And at that point, I walked away and I had a different appreciation
Yeah.
of how smart
But
she
you know what's
really
cool
was.
is that here now, this year, she's celebrating 40 years.
Yeah.
And she's still following the principles
Yes.
that you gave her
Absolutely.
40 years ago. How cool is that?
That makes my
Just
heart go
amplified
pitter-pat.
everything.
How cool is that,
Yeah.
buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, as a father,
Yes.
you gave her the tools that she needed for a lifetime of
Yes.
massive success.
And we couldn't even imagine what it would turn out to
No.
be. I mean,
No.
but it was awesome.
But you did that.
Yes.
You did that.
I think she and Dina, I think, were roommates.
Yeah, I
when
think
she-
so.
When she was first in Dallas, and because I used to worry about her. And
Yeah, I just met Dina last year. I just loved her to death.
Yes, she's,
And
She
what's
was this
what's
little-
her what's
and
her
they
husband's
taught,
name?
I don't know. I've never
I
met
can
him.
see his face. I can't see his. I can't think of his.
She had several.
What a great couple.
Yeah.
yeah.
She was a tiny little
Yeah,
petite
she
thing.
Yeah.
still is.
Yeah.
And they taught Arthur Murray dancing together.
Right.
And of course, Tony could always dance. And they
John?
did that.
Is it John? I think his name might
I
be
think
John.
it is John. I think it is.
Cool, really cool
Yeah.
guy.
But it's just, I mean, Tony is never ceased to amaze me, even today.
Yeah,
You know,
And the
she's
things she
fabulous.
comes up
She's
with.
absolutely fabulous.
I call her the Tony.
Yeah, well,
Doug started that.
and
Tony,
and
she is.
she's the hen that laid the golden egg.
Yes,
I
she
mean,
is.
She just
Yeah.
whatever she
Yeah.
it just she is just phenomenal in the way she comes up with ideas and
I know.
makes
Well,
things happen.
but you know, and she taps into that same talent that she has. She can tap into the scriptures the same way.
she does.
She
Yeah.
does.
She
And
does.
I was the president of the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship, and when she started teaching and
Okay.
running her business, we had to buy cases of Bibles because she would talk about the book.
Right, I remember
It's in the
that.
book.
Yes,
It's in the book.
Right.
And then she'd say, if you'd like to
A
a
copy.
copy of the book,
Okay.
see me after the lecture
She
was
couldn't
over.
say Bible or
Right.
wasn't supposed to.
She was teaching Christian principles
Well, and
from
she
the
still
outset.
is.
Still
she
is.
still
She
is.
always has.
She still
you know?
is. And she still said she has people come up and say, I really enjoyed your
I know what you're
sermon."
doing. You're preaching.
And
you're
I
telling the
enjoyed your
Bible. I know what you're
sermon.
doing.
There
Yeah,
was
she has people all the
seminar,
time
yeah.
telling her that.
Yeah.
Look at Bobbie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at the
Look at
poor-
that.
Oh.
Oh
Look
my
at that.
gosh.
That's when I got my new bathing suit. See, these pictures just come up, and some of them are really old, and some
Yeah.
are new.
Anyway,
All
it
right.
was,
I gotta
But
go.
we've- well,
Rhodey has let us talk. So
Yep. Rhodey's been great. You
Yeah.
wanna go home?
Yep, she's ready.
um,
Are you ready to